Guys, so today I wanted to do a short video. I'm going to try to keep it short, 10 minutes or less. It's my goal, 10 minutes or less. But I'm talking about internal marketing, and that's going to make it very hard because I could talk all day about all kinds of tactics and things like that. But internal marketing, it basically is exactly what it sounds like. It's whatever it's not just actual marketing. So there's internal marketing that is maybe some actual marketing. So when you have like a brochure in your business about some kind of product that you have, that's internal marketing. When you have like contests in your office that are generating some kind of, some like more leads or something like that, those are all technically internal marketing. But for me, if you've gone to my blog at all, the name of my blog is called Marketing from the Inside Out. I discovered a long time ago, and I wrote about this in the blog, that what's going on in the business is hugely important regardless of any marketing dollars you're putting down. In fact, anytime I work with somebody, the first thing I do is I go directly to what's happening in the business and what can we fix and improve. In fact, my first strategy, I don't shun if people are doing marketing or they want to be doing marketing, they want to send out ads, that's fine. One of the things I absolutely require though is that we train the people. If it's an industry where they make appointments, which is a lot of what I work with because I work a lot in medical and dental, if they have to make appointments, then the first thing I do is I train the phone people on how to properly answer the phones. This is something I learned from Jay Geyer from the Scheduling Institute. It was something that had never really crossed my mind prior to that, but it's like, oh my God, you really because it's an industry specific thing. So if you're a law firm, if you're a spa, if you're a medical practice, dental practice, something like that, then there's a lot of if you get into a lot of other industries, you just walk in, so the foot traffic, it's different. But in this kind of industry, like the phones, the way I look at it is, and this is the way I've seen it for so many years now, is I think of the phones as part of the marketing team. So I'm marketing and they are my sales team. So there's another sales team, which is the people especially in dental, you really people will avoid fixing problems. When you're at a doctor's office, you're sick, you need to fix it, you fix it. But when it comes to dental, there is an element of sales that goes into working in a dental office, even just to get people to get the fillings that they need done, because if they can avoid it, they will. So there's that element of selling. But for me, what I'm talking about is phone people sell appointments. And so training them to properly do that. The fact of the matter is, if people are calling your office, then they have a need. Then they need your service. That's why they're calling. They're calling to ask about, whether you take their insurance or whether this or whether that or whatever. And so my first plan of attack in an office is to train their phone people to properly handle those calls, because nobody really knows. They don't, that's just not something you train. I didn't know this tactic for a long time working in offices and things like that. And so once I discovered it, it was like, oh, okay, duh. This is something everybody needs to do. I call offices all the time and they butcher the hell out of their phone calls. You call and they're like, oh, well, when's good for you? Do you have anything this Tuesday? Oh no, we don't have anything this Tuesday. Okay, this conversation is going to end up being a whole lot longer than it needs to be. Why don't you give me some options? So, but yeah, so I think of them as my sales team. I go in and I train them first. But internal marketing it encompasses a lot of different things. So there's actual internal marketing as you might think of it initially, which is having advertising inside your place of business, whether it's a pamphlet for a particular product or it's a contest that, generates more leads or something like that. There is that, and that is internal marketing. But for me, when I think of marketing from the inside out, I really mean about making a marketable business. So it's about a place where people are happy to be there to work, where it's nice, it's clean, it is professional for whatever industry it is. The people conduct themselves, you know, in a manner that is very professional, again, industry appropriate. But the thing is like, my main focus is making sure that whatever business I'm marketing is at least a cut above any competitor. If like, because if you want to be marketed, you should be working on, you should care about being the best. You should at least think that you're the best. And then you probably are over embellishing yourself, and you could definitely do with some improvement, but at least you think you're the best. And, you know, and that's great. You know, I'm very fortunate that I know a lot of businesses already, and they know me, so I'm able to market myself. I literally marketed myself to people that I wanted to work with. So, you know, these are practices and businesses that are like, I hate to say it's like, it's going to be easy, but it is like, because, and it's not, I'm not doing it to make it easy on myself. I'm doing it because I want to work with these people, because I know they have great practices. I know they have great ethics, and I want to work with them. But it's more so about like, these are the kind of practices that I'm like, well, you guys, you know, you deserve to like have that help. Like, patients deserve to get the opportunity to come here because you guys are awesome. Otherwise, like, you know, you walk into offices and maybe they're not so awesome. And then you have like like for me, if I were to walk into an office that was like old and dingy and run down and had cranky pants sitting at the front desk who didn't even look up when I walked in the door, holy crap, I have a field. I'll tell you, like, I know I've gotten people in trouble before because that stuff bothers me. That is piss poor business. Like, I've called people, I have called like office managers and people like that, or I'll call people out. I'll make sure to write a review, or I'll make sure to contact somebody. If I think that what you're doing and how you're conducting your business is awful, I will let you know. And so, like, especially if I know, even if if I thought it was, well, no, I have to at least know them somewhat, so I'm comfortable enough to pick up the phone, call and say, hey, I walked in, and this has happened. I've walked into hundreds and hundreds of dental offices for years. So I walked into a dental office and walked up to the front desk, and I'm sitting here. I mean, I'm probably about as far away from this camera as I was from the person sitting there. And she did not look up. And I stood there. Because she must be thinking, like, I'm a patient, and I don't remember if they have a sign-in sheet or not. A lot of offices do, but for some reason they must have a sign-in sheet. So she's just thinking, like, come in, you're going to sign in the sign-in sheet and go sit down, you know? But I just stood there because I wanted to see how long it was going to take her to look up. And you know what happened? She didn't look up. Somebody else behind her finally acknowledged me, like came around a corner, saw I was standing there, and was like, oh, hey, because they knew who I was. But she didn't even, first of all, I don't think this person knew who I was. She was like newer because it was at a place that had a lot of turnover issues. But I mean, you know, it didn't matter. Like, if she had known me and then like sat there and then finally looked up and was like, oh, hey, you know, like that kind of crap would never fly with me. I'll tell you, like, if it were in fact, in the offices I've worked in, like, no, you would you would be hearing from me. But nevertheless, like, internal marketing is about, you know, how like, it's how you conduct your business. It's being it's not even just how you conduct your business and whether people like it or not, but being super effective and efficient. And, you know, all of these things really play into, you know, your business needs to be awesome, and then you should go and market. Because the thing is if you focus first on making your business awesome, you're going to do well with word of mouth. Okay. People are going to talk about you if you're really doing it right. Because I'll tell you, and I know, because I've been in businesses where I've been able to generate hundreds of reviews because first of all, I train the people to ask for reviews, but, which is internal marketing. But B, like, people are more than happy to write reviews because they're like, you guys are freaking awesome. That's what you want. That's internal marketing. I'm hitting 10 minutes right now. And it's super, super important. These are the things that I feel are super important to work on, like, first and foremost, before you really start dumping tons and tons of money into marketing, because, you can spend all kinds of money on marketing and then people show up and they're like, what the, like, if it's bad. If you're like mediocre, if you're average, at least if you're on par, like, you should at least be on par with your competitors. But if you're at least on par with your competitors, people probably aren't going to complain unless you really screw something up, or they're not going to necessarily, like, not want to be there because somebody else out there is better. But you should try. I mean, it's my personal recommendation that if you have a business, that you try to be the best. You try to, over deliver to whoever you're working with, regardless of what the industry is. So, I mean, and I mean, over delivery can be a lot of things. It can be as simple as like a phone call follow up. It can be, a thank you card for them doing business with you. It can be, for me, I'm jaded, or not jaded, but, not jaded. What's, can't think of the word, but desensitized, I guess you could say. Like, you go to Cocoa Beach, you go to Ron John, they give you free stickers. People love that kind of crap. If you give away like free things like that, people, they love that. And that's free advertising. Like, well, not free advertising, but those don't cost anything. So, I mean, it's all marketing. I mean, all of that is marketing. And what you're doing inside your business, that is marketing, because you're putting on a show and letting people know whether or not, you're worth spending money with. I mean, that in itself is marketing. That's what marketing does, is they go and tell people like, hey, you want to come spend your money here. So when you're in your business, that should be the message, is, hey, you want to spend your money here. So it's all marketing. And that's like my first message to a lot of people is like, internal, like, marketing from the inside out. What you're doing in your business all day, every day, is marketing. I tell teams, I'm like, you guys are all in marketing. You don't know it, you don't realize it, you don't think of it that way, but you are in marketing, period. Like, everyone is. So, and then it's training them to be better marketers, to be better stewards for their businesses. So that's internal marketing. The reason I bring it up is I'm actually working on some training materials for it right now, because one of my clients, I'm going to be doing coaching days twice a month. I was actually really surprised that they wanted that. When I was putting together, I was really focused on marketing, and I was so shocked, pleasantly surprised, that they actually wanted me to come in twice a month and do basically like lunch and learns with their teams and coaching them on marketing tactics, marketing strategies. I thought that was awesome, because it was, first of all, it was not at all what I expected, but I really would highly recommend something like that. In fact, I'm surprised I didn't, but I guess they wanted marketing. So I'm pleasantly surprised. So that was like for me, that was like a win. I was like, oh, well, this might be something that people want, and that was a nice shock for me, versus like like if I had put it out there and they're like, no, we don't want to like train our team or anything. And then you're like, oh, well, okay. Well, I would recommend otherwise, but so that was cool. But I'll stop myself here, and it's good talking to you guys, and I'll make videos for you soon. I actually went in and dropped it on my client today. They are super backed up. One of the owners has some like recertifications going on, so there's nothing, basically, like, they haven't had time to really think about all the fine details yet, so, which is cool, because that gives me like another week and a half to work a lot on the book and the web course and stuff like that. So I'm super stoked for that extra time. Not that I was going to have to be spending a whole lot of time working with my client, but it's just extra. It's one less thing tying me down. Oh, anyway, so I'm sidetracking myself. So I'm going to go figure out what I just realized, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, go kill it. Bye.